Today, we are going to be talking about the things that you should consider before you give your employees a raise. If you're new here, my name is Taylor Darcy from Think Legal, where I help you create the business of your dreams. So welcome. Just so you know, we go live every weekday, Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. to discuss important things about your business. So please make sure you join me and learn more things to help you grow a better business. So let's get started. So the number one thing that you're going to want to consider before you give a raise is make sure you're complying with, if you're in California. If you're outside of California, make sure you're complying with California laws, or the state laws in which you reside. But this is specifically for California. You need to make sure you're complying with California labor code and wage orders issued by the Industrial Welfare Commission. I had to write that out. And simply put, you just need to make sure you're paying your employees what you're contractually, what you have to pay them by law. This isn't about doing the right thing so much as it is protecting yourself against lawsuits for wage and hour discrimination, things of that nature. So you really want to do the investigation to make sure you're paying people what you should be paying them. Now, if you follow my next strategy, and we'll talk about this in just a second, you won't have to worry about the California wage and hour law too much. And I'll explain that in just a second. So the next thing that you're going to want to do is make sure that you're paying equal pay for equal work, regardless of age, age, sex, so on and so forth, gender. Make sure that you're paying equal wage for equal work. And what I would argue is that you should pay, even if a woman goes out on maternity leave, in my opinion, you should pay them to keep in with the male counterparts that don't go out on maternity leave. Not only does that certainly say you respect their contribution, but there are valuable skills that they learn as someone who is a new parent, whether it be one child or 10 children, that you can't teach. And to encourage that behavior, because I think we as a society would recognize that underpaying women is detrimental to everyone. And so that's my personal opinion. But just keep that in mind as you're thinking about giving your employees a raise. The next thing that you're going to want to do is make sure that the offer is in writing and that the writing is explicit, that it's still considered an at-will position, or that it is an at-will if they're changing positions, if they're getting a promotion, if they're adding additional work, whatever it is. You want to make sure that the offer letter is very clear that yes, they're getting an increase in pay, but nothing else should be considered employment beyond that as far as the contract is concerned. So you want to keep that in mind, is that it's very clear that at each step of the process of keeping people on your business or on your payroll, that it's very clear that it's an at-will place. Now, that may apply only to California, so keep that in mind, that if you're outside of California, there may be other rules and requirements, stipulations, so on and so forth. The next thing that you're going to want to consider, also, if you're getting value out of this, feel free to put comments in the chat. I'm happy to answer them. Questions if you're watching this live. If you're not, please leave them in the chat. I'll answer them as time permits. Consider non-monetary compensation if your budget isn't huge. And what do I mean by that? Something of the nature of extra time off, or something that benefits them, not necessarily with extra wages. Maybe it be additional sick time. Maybe it be unlimited something. I don't know. Just be creative. Find a way to encourage your employees to stay with you and feel the appreciated that the money costs. Maybe give them contribute more to their medical plan if that's a possibility. So it doesn't necessarily have to be extra wages. It can be also benefits outside of that. Consider moving from a sick pay to a PTO status or type company, so that they can just take it whenever they want for whatever reason they want. That doesn't have to be necessarily for sick pay. It can be consider rolling it over. Consider, bonuses if your company meets certain goals, so that you can encourage them to be part of the process of building instead of just being an employee. But the main point that I wanted to make earlier about what you paying someone is your way of telling them what they're worth to you as a company. And, what's good for the bottom line, which is, pay them as low as possible, isn't necessarily what's good for the company. And the reason why I say that is because if you pay them more than what the, the lowest possible is, if you show them that you're truly committed to them, then they're going to go out of their way to make the best employees possible. And there are several companies that are like this, that pay their employees more than expected at that level. Chick-fil-A is one, and In-N-Out is another. They pay well above minimum wage for the purpose to let people know that they expect the best out of them. And I think you get that, more pay for more work. And so by helping your employees know that you care more than just you're looking out for the bottom line, you're going to get better work quality out of them. But let them know that's what you expect, right? That you're not paying them, the same to do the same level of work or lower quality work. Make sure that they understand that you're paying them this premium because you believe that they are a premium person and that they can bring premium experience. This is something that will help the morale of your company drastically to make sure that they're being compensated fairly, that, it's always more expensive to hire a new employee than it is to just keep the existing employees. And that's why it's so important that you compensate people fairly and adequately, not only keeping in with the law, but also, for the sake of building the company, right? If you have people that are telling others how great of a company they have to work for, then that can increase your sales and that can increase other things too. So never discount that one person can make a difference. When I've been appreciated at jobs in my past and paid accordingly, I was happy to refer people to work there versus that were good quality people, and versus when I was treated like crap, guess what? I didn't give them that same thing. People would say, "Oh, well, you want to hire somebody?" And I'd be like, "I'm not telling anybody to work here because this isn't a good place to work. I mean, I'll work here because I've already been here." And the devil that you know is better than the devil that you don't know. But the idea being that shouldn't be the way you would want to run your company, and to level up and to give your company the best. Pay your employees truly what they're worth, not just what's good for the bottom line. And you'll get to have a much stronger bottom line because you won't be having to recycle and retrain and new employees coming on and just all the headache that goes with it. And on top of all of that, you don't have to worry about breaking the law or wage and hour claims, because then nobody is going to claim that because you're paying them so well that there's no way they would ever do that. You see, that one tip avoids a lot of potential litigation and a lot of potential problems by paying people not only fairly, but excellently, paying them for exactly what they're worth, and maybe even more. Giving people the benefit of the doubt that they deserve to be paid more is very important for this. So keep that in mind. If you've gotten value out of this video, please don't forget to hit subscribe and like, and hit the bell icon. We go live every weekday, Monday through Friday.